project, it could be a 4-week time box, it doesn't matter. And what you do with the things you think you can get done in the time span is you prioritise things. The M's are must-haves, the S's are should-haves, and the C's are could-haves. And anything that we end up deciding to de-scope because we're behind becomes a W, which is for won't have. So this spells MoSCoW, M-S-C-W. The O's are there just for fun to make it spell MoSCoW. So there we go. But this is your MoSCoW system, must, should, could. Now you're in a room full of customers. You know, you're sitting there with the users and customers, and we're doing the MoSCoW in. You've got all your requirements, and we say we're now going to go through a prioritisation exercise. What tends to happen?
Everything's a must.
Everything's a must, right. Now, the good news is, and I've been doing this ages, is it never is the case, okay? So we ask one very simple question to find out if it's a must. Do you know what the question is?
What happens if we don't use it?
You're nearly there. It's like last time. I need a binary question. I need a question that's going to prove whether it's a must or not. You're in the right area.
Would it fail without it?
Yeah, basically saying, yeah, that's where we are. So I would say, without that, do you want anything? And they'll either look at you and go, yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah, if you don't give me that, I don't want it. Or they'll go, oh, don't be so hasty. You know, that's still very useful. But it won't work without a must. It won't work, and this is why it's important to get the fully. It won't work or the customer doesn't want it. So this is it. I'm not having it. Don't give it me without that. So.
Then you've got to do a mini MoSCoWs almost, because you've got to then reprioritise the musts.
No, honestly, this is it. A lot of people order these musts. I don't bother. It's a beautiful technique because it's so simple. Must, should, could. Interesting enough, people tend to. This is why there isn't a priority of a must. This is more musty than that must. It's got to be there, or it's not. So if you take a car without an engine, that's a muster. A car without wheels, muster. Electric windows, you know. But again, it depends whether it's a prestige car. You know, could you imagine having a Rolls Royce with winders? I mean, it might be a bit retro. I don't know. But would you release it? Your sales team would probably be in and going, well, you guys, I'd make something of that. That'd be quite a feature. Imagine you're going on holiday. Let me try and show you what a must-have looks like. You're going on holiday. Let's say you're on this course and you get an email during a break and it says, you've won a trip to America. Off you go. And you've got to get to the airport within about 3 hours. So imagine you're rushing home to get your suitcase packed and everything. Classic time boxing. You've got a physical amount of space. You've got to get to the airport in time. What would your passport be here? Right. So important point. You wouldn't even go to the check-in and go, driver's license? You just wouldn't turn up because it's completely essential. So I want you to imagine you found your passport, you're driving to the airport, you've got your suitcase on the back seat, you're all very excited. And then you suddenly think, hang on a minute, what's the time here? This is going to be a bit close, but I haven't got any t-shirts. Like I've got none. Are you going to turn around?
No.
Why not? What are you going to do?
Buy them at the airport.
Buy them at the airport, because it's a workaround, okay? And even just walking around, I don't know, in New York, just, I don't know, with a sweatshirt and no t-shirts, whatever, you're just not turning around, okay? Now, the important thing is, you should have packed them. It's not everything is just peripheral, not bothered, because you're now going to have to spend half a day shopping instead of being on a business trip or going and enjoying your holiday. I mean, I don't know, some of you might prefer doing the shopping, but all I'm saying is you should have packed it. Okay. Now, a tourist guide of New York or something, or America, could have something free when you get there. I mean, if you got organised, you'd have it ready, wouldn't you? You'd have a bit of planning. But this is the sort of must, should, could. Okay. And this is how MoSCoW is, just works so sort of brilliantly. Again, think about your washing machine. Now remember, change is inevitable. So if somebody comes along and says, hey, I've got a couple of new requirements for my construction project, for my PR project, for my R&D project. Now if somebody comes up to you now and goes, hey, I've got a couple of new requirements, we don't need to go down Lee's route, I can make some money out of this. You simply ask them 2 questions. Any idea what the 2 questions are? What do you say when somebody goes, oh, I've got 2 new ideas?
Well, you would want to qualify what they are if they're needed on the same premises before. Does that affect the value you set working in?
Okay, so you want to know a little bit about them and say, oh yeah, I want this, that's a great new idea, because something you said the other day, Lee, I thought, yeah, why don't we build on that? That sounds really, really good. And so I've come up with this new idea. Yep. I want it in the next time book, so that's fair enough, yeah. When? As in, hopefully, they might say I don't want it this time, but they'll be surprising. What are the main things about flexing the scope? What's the two things I'm going to ask?
You might be able to trade, I guess.
Trade. What are you going to drop out then? So, okay, I'm going to drop that out.
Yeah.
And the next thing is, what's the priority? Oh, this is should, that's a could. Sometimes they'll give it away when they talk to you. Their eyebrows go up. If their eyebrows go up when they've got a new requirement, it's normally a could have. They go, oh, I've got a new idea. And if their eyebrows go up there, like yours are, trust me, it works, mate. Honestly, if you'll be seeing someone that goes, blimey, they went on. What's the requirement? It's good at. They'll often give you a little clue. I'll tell you what would be handy. You know, oh, that'd be nice. Nice, that's not a must-have. But as soon as they say anything, you don't go this, and you don't go, oh, God, they changed their mind. In fact, you just sit there going, oh, it's great to hear you've got new requirements. It's so good and so satisfying. I just can't wait to build this really new, closer to what you want solution. But which are you going to drop out? Now, here's a real moment, and this is a brilliant moment where you suddenly realise you've got some evolution in their learning, is when they come up to you and goes, I've got some new requirements, and there's Fiona already doing the eyebrow test, and she's just out to go, what are you going to drop out? And they said, I want these two new requirements. And you go, what are you going to... No, hang on. I want to drop out this one, and I want to drop out this one. They tell you what they're doing. It's at that point, the penny has now dropped. I don't know if that expression works in Belgium or Denmark, but you know, that's when, hang on, they get it. But they get that if they trade this, they get the deadline, they get it well built, and they get what they want. Because they're playing with, I call this soft stuff. This is soft stuff down there. This is the stuff they don't use, probably. And this is why, and don't get me wrong, these musts are utterly essential. If you don't deliver this, it doesn't work. But if you don't deliver the musts, and you know, it depends how much musts there are. You know, 60, 70, 80% could be musts, but you know, just get rid of this sort of stuff. Hit the deadline. There's a bigger picture, a bigger fish to fry.